Hello, hello. What'd you think of that? Awesome? Nice. So, what we are firing today is a bronze light 6-pounder gun. There would have been 8 of these at the Battle of Guilford Courthouse. The American Army had 4 of these. The British Army had 4 of these. The British Army had 2 bronze 3-pounders, sometimes called grasshoppers. If you want to see what one of those looks like, go to our visitor center at the back of the museum exhibit. We have a reproduction 3-pounder in there. But if you don't have time to go there, pretty much just imagine this at half scale. That's what a 3-pounder looks like. So one of the unique things about these guns, the fact that they are made of bronze, was a huge breakthrough because it made the gun tube much lighter. It was much easier to maneuver. You needed less horses to pull it. Now that is important because the less horses you need, the less mouths you have to feed, and horses eat a lot every single day. So if you have less horses pulling your guns, that's making it a little easier on your logistics chain. Now, like I said, the American Army would have 4 6-pounders here. 2 of them would have been at the very first line, and really the way our battle begins is with an artillery duel. The American 6-pounders fire at the British as they arrive at the Hoskins farm. The British bring up their guns and fire back and forth for about 20 minutes as the British deploy their infantry into their lines at the Hoskins farm. Once the British begin to advance, the 6-pounders come all the way back here. If you had a chance to see it already, the American third line would be just the other side of the parking lot. And if you go down the walking trail, you will see 2 reproduction 6-pounders by the walking trail. Those represent the guns of Anthony Singleton. Singleton was at the first line, and that's about where we think he parked his guns when he came back to the third line. The other 2 American 6-pounders would be on the far north side of the third line. Now, the firing here at the third line is also a place where we get one of the biggest myths of Guilford Courthouse, and that is, once the British and American infantry are locked in hand-to-hand combat here, there's a myth that Cornwallis uses his 3-pounders to just blindly fire grape shot into his own men because he was so desperate for victory he didn't care if he caused friendly casualties. What we actually know happens is that he is firing grape shot, but what he's doing is he's firing at the cavalry of William Washington. Cousin to George Washington, William Washington's cavalry have just attacked Cornwallis's men, and could either attack his men again or could just as easily attack Cornwallis and his artillery. When they fire grape shot, what they are doing is that instead of firing one solid cannonball out of the gun, you're putting a packet of iron balls about the size of golf balls, usually 12 to 15 per pack, and you're firing that out of a cannon, and you're turning a cannon into a giant shotgun. When you have 2